All right, so this is our 2023 end of the year behind the scenes. I did already pull up all the wood stuff, the gingerbread train, the sleigh, and all the elves last night, but then I realized I haven't done it, so I wanted to take a quick moment to do a walkthrough. So this year I started turning some things. It spreads the house out. If you see the videos, especially from the center, makes everything look larger and go through. Here's some of the wireframes that I did this year. These were all individually zip tied on there. There's a lot of jumps on there. I got to do Pluto and a bunch of other ones this year, so I'll probably do a video montage as we go. This ornament arch here, you guys probably recognize it from Home Depot. Yes, of course, we pixelized it using some 10x mesh. And you get the store off of Amazon. We have our round trees that I used Mega Tree Strip to do it. A lot of controllers throughout the whole yard. This year we had 5 individual pixel forests. 2 of these that are 24 high, 11 by 11. Got one on this side and on the far side by the other arch. I got 2 smaller forests up front that were 13 pixels each, and then we had our swinging pixel forest that'll have a later video in the middle that were 8 wide, 10 high, and spread out a little bit more. Those are pretty damn cool. Thanks to Yuletide Productions for those. One of the first props we redid was our joy sign, and once again using the 10x. And that's how I also did my candy canes and a number of other props, including the bigger candy canes on the other side. This year I wanted to add depth and also height, so built some wood structures, and a lot of securing went into those to keep those down. We also have our firework effects. Originally got the idea from my buddy Ron Howard over at Extreme Sequences, but I did 5 per, except the smaller ones. So this way we got 3 on each side, so a total of 6. That added so much, filled in so much space. Doubled up the pixels on the Mega Tree this year, both trees. So this one went from 32 at 125 to 32 by 250. Added so much definition to it. Running a lot of these, I really like these new 8 and 16 port differential expansion boards. I'm going to be using a lot more this year. I got about 15 or 20 Culps and 2 Falcons in the show. But yeah, I wanted to get things up, so I had to think originally, what can I do to get something over the candy canes and the joy sign? So that's why I did that, and that added a whole new dimension to the show. Tried for my OCD, tried to keep it the same height as what the props on the house were, so once again it made it look farther. So the bottom row this year, I kept them away. Gives me a way to walk through if I do got to do any repairs or get to them. I think I'm gonna paint those snowflakes just because everything else is black. I got a few white props still left in the show. The Showstopper snowflakes, big fan of those. We added 4 of the Showstopper spinners this year. My buddy Mike uses a lot of those. I originally wasn't going to have, this is the Gilbert Engineering Dragonfly. I wasn't going to have that in the show for Christmas, but I needed one more prop when I moved the Fusions over on the big flake. And this actually looked really awesome. Up top, we got 2 Real Deals, 2 Grand Illusions up there, a 7.5-inch GE flake. Got the Warlock here. This thing looks so sick lit up. We built another P5, a new P5 panel for the front porch here this year. The big one that I used to have in the middle of the yard was in the driveway. Gave me a few issues data-wise at the end of the year, so I just kind of put it away and never took it back out. We added a bunch of Mickey flakes this year. They're not just for looks and to fill spots in. Those are actually blocking the eye hooks that I put on the house to use for the pulleys. So form and function. This P5 panel is actually not attached to anything but that frame. Kept it out all year last year, and had to do a little repairs to it, a little paint. Got the Aztec here, some magic spinners. And one of the big things that I did add this year on both the front of the house and the side porch that I added last year are these poor man pixel poles, and I used them for column matrices. This added so much to the house. I highly recommend people do that. I did actually keep the original J-channel trim, so it gives it a two-tone effect. It gives it a two-tone effect all the way through the house. I did the same thing when I added the GE icicles, is I kept the actual trim there, so it really gives it depth. Same thing like I did on the other side of the house. I kept this out this year instead of putting it up against the house, and added more. We also upgraded the density on all of our arches, starting with the pathway arches. These were about 40 to maybe 45 a piece. Now they're 150 using offset pixel strips. You still got a zip tie, guys. And painted everything black. Now these I actually didn't get out, but these Noel candles here are about 30 years old, and I pixelized them and then never put them in the show. They just kind of sat next to it. Just ran out of time. Another thing we pixelized this year was a full nativity scene. I got almost the whole Browner set over 3 different states last year. Had my daughter picking up some. My wife went out to PA, and those all got new lights on them this year, new life, and looked amazing in the show. Speaking of upgraded arches, we had our PEX arches in 21 and 22, and this year we upgraded to the GE 3-row triple arches. And I had a lot of trouble bending the EMT, and I saw somebody post that they were using their older arches and just zip tying them, and for the sake of time, that's what I did. But I actually lit up the PEX arches, and it gave it a 3D glow effect. That 10-foot tree we had on the other side of the driveway last year, and it got moved over, and instead of it being a 360, I switched it to a 180 because that's all that the audience is seeing. So I didn't have to add any pixels to it, just basically took it from 16 down, or 32 down to 16. So instead of 32 times 50, 16 times 100, and I'm running all those off a little K8. We redid a bunch of spiral trees, or not redid them, they were brand new, and got those going. Big help from my mom on those. She came over. My nephew Jacob was over helping with a lot of the setup, the main stuff. Angel came over. A big shout out to everybody who did make it over. So this was a big thing we upgraded this year, was our driveway. And this was only about 1,300 lights prior to this year, over 16 arches. So each arch got mega tree strip, modeled it as a mega tree in there, so I can do alternating nodes. So every other one forward and back. And these are 300 per arch. The winds kind of beat them up, so they're going to be coming down. We got major windstorms coming in starting on Tuesday next week. It's Saturday, so I got to get all the big stuff at least down and out of the way. I'm not worried about the props on the house. Those should be fine. Maybe the sign on the roof. We'll see about that. Added 4 spin arches this year, so there's 1 on each corner, along with the went from 2 Rosagran arches to 4, and those add a lot to the yard. Whole lot to the yard. I got this archway last year real late in the season from Lowe's. Threw it up over the angel wings. I loved it, but I wanted to make it look better this year, so reorganized the angel wings. And we had a selfie station here thanks to U-Tide Productions. There's some videos about that. Might shoot another one, but wanted to fill in some of this space, so threw the mice there. I tried to put those floodlights actually in the arch to light it up, but it only lit up the bottom snowman. So I'm going to be pixelizing that or doing something to get that going this year. Got our Grinch and Cindy Lou Who and Max in the back. I got to add some pixels to Max this year. we'll get around to it. The wires look like a mess right now because those were the wires for the selfie station. So when I originally did this, these straps will do 10,000 pounds. They're made for like doing cars and motorcycles, and I already bought this smaller steel ones, but man, this sucker stayed there, so I just left it alone. You do not see them at nighttime. Maybe I can paint them, who knows, or who cares. During the day, it is what it is. You get around it. Fireworks up there, we added 2 King's Ransoms on the side and Fusions on the bottom from Gilbert Engineering. There's a separate video actually on this flake, and I may add a few more things this year to that. Really, what that did is anybody who was waiting in line gave them something over here. Speaking of, this used to be on the front of the house 2 years ago, and then it was on the roof of the gingerbread house last year, but late in the season I got this up there. Usually I run a tune during the show, so people waiting down the street waiting to get it, they have something to look at. I got a bunch of props that I plan on putting on the side of the house next year, and you know, like I said, I took the wooden stuff down. We're still in the process of redoing some of those. The wife side porch, we got a lot of our blow molds over here and nutcrackers. There's some more stuff going. I got trim all the way through here, and like I was telling you, I did 6 posts this year with the Poor Man Pixel poles. That's still one of my most favorite props, and not too many people know about this. So I got this for $1 off of Facebook Marketplace and added some 10X, added some pixels, modeled it myself in X-Lights, and it became pretty cool. Last year we added icicles all the way around the whole house, 3 full sides. Those are my dogs just barking, is what they like to do. For security, I have about 20 Ring cameras throughout the whole display. You can't pretty much move anywhere by my house without being recorded. Every year now, so we started off with 10 bulbs in the tree, the Home Depot bulbs. This year popped it up to 40, and I have about another 40 to 60 to do for next year. I got some different plans. One of the real cool things, so this used to be a bunch of dead space, so I actually used that same 10X and did 2-inch spacing and zip tied it to the tree. So this tree went from just being, I used to have some floods in it, just dead space. This year became a nice little prop that did some extra things. So now if you guys actually look at any of the drone footages, my OCD really took over with this show. My yard's not straight with the street, so things may look on an angle, but if you see it from above, we really took the time to measure out, to get all the angles right. Next year I'm going to be turning these arches on a 45 just like the rest of those props. That'll give me a lot more space up front for the sleigh, Santa, and all that. One of the cool things that we got from Yuletide Productions this year was these, besides the swinging forest in the middle, these matrix posts here, the lamps actually go up and down on a servo to the music. We had about 4 songs sequenced to that this year. Those will get painted this year. Having some fun. We painted the Mickey that we have out front. My daughter drew it out, painted it. It looked phenomenal, but apparently the paint that I picked doesn't hold up to the elements, so it just started coming right off. As you can see on Mickey's face there, that was just me wiping it. But we went back, used some Sharpies to get his robe and hat looking decent. So he'll get a full makeover this year, along with some other props. I'd like to paint up the nativity and also the Magic Castle, along with those little Boscoyo flakes in the trees in the back. So the carousel horse, I got that off the Facebook Marketplace a year or 2 ago. I want to add some more pixels to that. I got a lot of wireframes. I got a lot of older props that I plan on adding to the show this year, along with some other cool stuff. So it was a lot of work. A couple thousand hours, you know, each year has gone into this the last 3 years. So we do appreciate everybody who's came out. Can't thank my neighbors enough for you know, bringing their friends, their family, their support. If you guys have any questions, please leave them in the comments section or shoot us a message. And yeah, so about to start tearing stuff down. So we're signing off here for 2023 and look forward to 2024.